Good morning, orchid family. Hi. Look who decided to open up. This is my Phalaenopsis Manhattan rose. And since I told you, I kind of neglected my orchids for the past few months. Some do well and some do amazing, and some are just barely hanging on. And I saw a few videos from other people about water culture, and most of my orchids downstairs are on some sort of water culture, and semi-hydroponics and semi-water culture, full water culture, and I have a few in bark. And normally what I do is I leave a little bit of water in the bottom of the pot, because this one doesn't have that much root in the media. It's starting to grow roots, but this plant has all its roots up out of the media. It's really hard to keep them wet without spraying them. I would love to repot it, but she's been repotted twice. Once when I got her, and once when I nearly killed off all the roots. But she is still hanging on. She's giving me, at the moment, 2 flowers. One is almost open. Kind of looks funny like that. Still like she's having her hood on. There are 3 other buds and buds to come. I also have a branching there, and just around the corner, and one over there. And so for me, what I'm doing now is I'm watering her with water from my husband's aquarium. So it's a kind of aquaponic system. So there is fertilizer in that. And I will have to test the water to see how much I need to add of calcium and magnesium. As you can see, the leaves are kind of leathery. That's also because they're above my radiator. That's also the reason why, even if she's in bark, I leave a little bit of water in there, because or else they dry out way too fast. And the flowers are pointed towards the window, and it's freezing. It's going to get -15 next week. So I really need to make sure that the buds aren't touching the glass. So this is my Phalaenopsis Manhattan rose, which, thanks to Zane, I know the name, but it's lovely. I think I said to Claire from Orchids and Lime that I like the snake forked tongue. Anyway, I like the lip, especially when it has spots or color to them. This is my orchid Phalaenopsis, one of my 3 originals, and I call it Moana. And she had a little bit of a mishap. This leaf was the last one that grew. And as you can see, there's a split. This leaf came out the center and then wanted to grow up and pushed through the other leaf, and was completely wrinkled like a harmonica. And I think about 4 weeks ago I freed this one and pulled her through. Actually the wrong way, but that's the way she wanted to grow. So I have no idea what's gonna happen next. If this one is done growing, where the next leaf's gonna come from and how it's gonna grow, and if I need to take this leaf off. But as you can see, it's completely sideways, and that's how they grow on trees. So you would think that's normal. The roots in the media are not that great. She didn't have a lot. I also suspected all my old orchids to have fusarium, so she got treated, and the new roots I'm trying to guide them back into the media. This one also, you can see that the leaves are leathery and very thin, and they really need more hydration. So what I'm going to do with the orchids in media is I'm going to pour the water over the roots into the pot, let them soak up a little bit of extra water. I'm going to do that twice a week, and no, I'm going to do it more often. I'm going to see if I can do this every other day, because they're above my radiator. But this is Moana. She's doing good. She's making new roots, and I'm happy with new roots. Her leaf is growing. It's really purple, so it's probably deficient in a lot of things. She will hang in there, and I will get around to make sure she gets proper treatment. But at the moment I can't go and give every orchid a different fertilizer regime next to a different watering regime. So watering first, get that done, make sure I get a good rhythm the next few months, and then I can think of different fertilizer regimes for everybody else. This is my orchid Kiki. Oh, this is the one with a really big basil cakey, and this is one of my 3 original orchids. She had been in water, full water culture, without a dry day for 4 months. The water was until here. You can see the new roots, and she's happy. I have 3 new roots in the water, and I have 2 new roots over there and 1 over there. She got also 3 fusarium treatments. The only problem I have with the treatments is that the roots that are healthy and the roots that aren't healthy don't like the treatment. Even though it kills the fungal disease, I really think that the roots don't take gladly to it. So what I'm doing now is I give her 1 dry day, because there was a lot of mucus and slime in there, and I cleaned the pot up a bit. I left a tiny bit of bacteria in there, so that it's the same as with a cat litter. If you get a new cat or a new litter box, you need to take a little bit of the old litter into the new litter box so that they recognize its home. Because this one isn't a media, and because I am a true fan of Amy of Orchid Whisperer and think of beneficial bacteria, and especially now I'm gardening and learn about beneficial bacteria actually in my permaculture studies, I really do think it has some merit. So, but I did clean the vase because it was really green and it went too far, and I also want roots to be able to photosynthesize. So this orchid's gonna go on a regime of twice a week, a dry day or a dry night, and then the rest is gonna be full of water until halfway up the pot. So all the new roots are in water. I wanted to guide those roots into the water, but then I have to shift the plant very awkwardly and it slides back. But I hope this one goes down into the pot eventually. If we're gonna talk about my phalaenopsises, I of course have to show our Zhengmin Pontosaurus. Doing well, doing fine. And look at that pretty lip. It has a very delicate color. This one is fading out. This one was the oldest. This one still has a little bit of orange in it. And as you can see, there's a new mitten. So there's a new flower coming. Oh, I think I lost 1 flower over there. Maybe in a move up to down. I'm not really sure. But I really love this. I had got this one from Roger, and it was in spike, and he was not sure if he could make sure that the spike last would survive the trip. And I don't think I properly showed in proper lighting how amazingly cute the tiny twinkle flowers are. Because they are tiny. Look at that. And they smell divine. They're like little, we have a flower we called a lion's mouth. And they kind of remind me of that. They have so much texture and so much, different parts to them. They really are amazing to me. And this one is in semi-hydroponics. This is the glass. I need to find the hole. I drilled 1 hole and I was too scared to drill the other hole. And it's in semi-hydroponics and it's loving it. It really didn't like any other media. It doesn't like the, not the lacquer, the other one, how you call it. It didn't like the ceramics, it didn't like the bark it was in. I got it with about a handful of snails in the media, so that it's doing better. It's actually quite spectacular. I'm very happy because it's the 3rd time it bloomed for me. Ow, it just hit my head. Okay, there we go. The Ainsworthii that I got from Ed, it's finally open. We got a nice backdrop of pots and pans. Sorry for that. So I'm really happy with that. It's looking at me while I'm cooking. It's really funny. Okay, so I'm going to walk to my windowsill and show you my other orchids in water culture. So, okay, you gotta go to the side. I think I need to... There we go, that's better. This is the orchid that I got from the hardware store and that had the monster roots and that I left in water for a whole week with all the new good working roots, and they all swelled up so far and that they burst. I'm trying to hold this so I can show you, but it's been in water hoisted up instead of marbles like Denise. I really think I need to steal my daughter's marbles, the glass beads, but it's hoisted up on leca beads so that the roots can go down into the water, have water, and so the base is still dry. It is growing a little bit. The new leaf is coming out. The problem with this is that it's above my radiator and they dry out really fast. I try to keep them as close to the window as I can without having them touch the window. But as you can see, they all need a little bit more extra TLC and a little bit more water. So I'm gonna check them every day. Every night I'm gonna top up the water if I need to, or give them a little bit of a dry day and then put them on the kitchen counter so they don't dry out too much above the radiator. But every orchid that I put in water culture has taken a liking to it. This is the keiki of the plant that I showed you, the one with the really long leaves downwards, which I call Moana because I think they look like a surfboard actually. She's in leca pellets and a glass outer jar so that I can keep a little bit of water in the bottom. Because I think she has about 3 roots in the media. That's a new one. That's a new one. One other new one aborted about 3 months ago. And I will have to hoist her out to see. She has one big green root over there. I try to keep the water level just at that root. So the root is accustomed to having a lot of moisture. And that's the only root I can see from the outside. And that's the reason why I keep her in semi-hydro, but my way. Instead of semi-hydro and having just 2 holes in the outer pot, I keep my orchids in leca pebbles and an outer pot, so I can pick and choose how much water I leave in there, how big the reservoir is, and I see that I really need to dust. But she has 4 flower buds in the making. And it's been a year since I've seen her flower, so that's gonna be really amazing. Because she is also one of the originals. Makes me think of the TV show. I have to work around a lot of toys and stuff that's standing over here. Okay, this one. I hope it is actually not too dark. This one is my Kira. This is my first and my most beloved orchid. This is the one that I got from IKEA, and she has a little bit of a panther markings on her. Purple, a little bit of yellow, just really amazing, nice color. And she had 2 keikis, and one basal keiki and one really up high, and she was getting drained. She was dying actually, and I cut off the basal keiki, and then she was like, nope, I'm not doing it anymore. And I put her in moss, and it took a long while, but she has a pot full of roots. She has a big juicy one over there, one that's going around the corner. Sorry for my shakiness. There's a new root. There's another one, and if I, oh sorry, I don't want to drop it, so excuse me for that. And if I take this out of the way, you can see that they're really healthy, really nice and green. There's 3 pointing forward, and going down, and there's one here going up that I'm trying to scoot down. She is in moss and water, and the reason for that is because the moss above the radiator dries out within a day. So that means I need to water her twice. But twice a day is way too much. This one is, I made a whole construction. She was in a square vase. This one is the shaky that was up high from this. But the way she was hoisted in the vase, the roots are growing out of the vase. So I gave her a big round one, and I made scaffolding with bamboo skewers. Yeah, that's the word. So I made scaffolding with bamboo skewers. I made sure that I could tilt her without bending or breaking anything. And those 3 roots you see that are completely new. She's growing her leaf. It's shiny. The shaky has 2 nice roots on them, growing tips. This one, I need to look at the label. It's an Oncidium cherry baby. That was the part that fell off my other division. I put her in moss and a net pot in winter with the radiator on. That's just shitty. That doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do is make sure that this vase is filled to the top so that the media stays moist. Then it can dry out a little bit, and then I wet it again, because all those tiny roots on the outside have growing tips. They're doing fine. This one has a bad case of fusarium. It got treated twice. It's doing fine. I have 1 new growth over here. I have 1 new growth over there. And it goes to show that it doesn't matter that much if your plants have fusarium. You can still save them. If you are subscribed to Danielle, I need to link her page down. She also did a full course, not a course, she did a full treatment of fusarium for a lot of plants, and a lot of her plants survived. This is my Miltessia, and that one is the 2 new bulbs, pseudo bulbs from the back bulb that wasn't supposed to grow. This one didn't do so well because I treated it twice, and because it was that tiny, didn't take well to it. But this one was stubborn enough to grow another one. I sadly had to take away the back bulb because it got mushy. But this one was the first orchid I got with fusarium, and I treated it, and it gave me 1 healthy new growth that already made a pseudobulb, and a new growth that's growing in a different weird direction because I keep twisting the pot. And sadly that means that these 2 little buggers need to grow around the orchid. But as you can see, I leave a lot of water in here. It's half vase. I have here a vase completely full of water. That one is in moss and just about 5 millimeters of water. Both with moss. That one I'm going to drain every 2 days. Leave it dry for a day. And then have 2 days of water. And I'm going to do that for a week or 3 and see how the roots react and keep on top of the root rot, because I want the new roots in the media. This one also is potted in media, but in lacquer beads, so I can do the semi-hydroponics to encourage more root growth. This one is in lacquer beads, but without the pot, so I can see all the roots, and I really like that way better than that way or that way. I have 2 other orchids in water culture, but they're upstairs, and I will show upstairs later this week because it's a really big project what I'm doing at the moment. I have all my orchids out of the grow room, and that's because I asked my husband to hang up a metal grid. It's a big steel fence part that he's gonna hang up on the wall so I can hang up my mounts and I can hang up my small ceramic pots. But if you're gonna drill into a big drywall, you don't want all your plants covered in dust, drywall dust. So I keep them out of the room. So that's my orchids, and that's my, yay, my new bloom, which I'm really, really happy with. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I will make more orchid videos, and that's it. See you all in the next video. Bye. Rose out.